Hiya folks, how's it going? My name is Lexi and I really love tabletop role-playing games. So much so that we sit down together once a week, every week, and we review one here at the gaming table. If that sounds interesting to you, I highly encourage you to subscribe and keep watching. If you would like to go the extra special mile for the gaming table, there is a link in the description box of this video to my Ko-Fi page where you can make a donation to the channel. All those donations go straight back into the running costs of the channel. For example, sometimes creators are only able to send me a digital copy of their game, rather than a physical copy. In these circumstances, I get the games printed and bound locally so I can make my reviews. The funds donated to my Ko-Fi page go towards this cost. Please let me know if you would like to be acknowledged or how you would like to be acknowledged. I put a short thank you at the end of my videos to thank everyone who's donated previously. Of course, you don't have to donate. I appreciate just having you all here discussing games with me. I'd like to thank V Hemming for reaching out to me with a copy of a game to review. If you yourself have made a game and you want to see it on the gaming table, you can reach out to me using the email address in the description box below. I will admit it is a little bit of time in between me receiving a game and getting a review out. I try to review these games in the order that I receive them. So let's dive into today's game. Let's take a look at Unknown Beast. Unknown Beast is a GM-less low-prep horror game. To start a game of Unknown Beast, it is recommended you decide what kind of setting you want your game to take place in. The manual suggests that you choose a setting sort of prior to the 1990s so you can get around things like advanced cell phone technology. This can often cause a bit of an immersion break for some folks in horror stories. For myself, I'm happy with my horror stories to involve mobile phones. I think there's ways you can work around it that you can discuss with the group. Maybe the phone is out of battery, out of signal, or you can't really look up anything useful to help you with your situation. Goodness knows the number of times I've tried to look up a question I have on the internet and all the responses I get back are rubbish. Once your group has decided a setting, it's then time for them to create the investigators. The information for the investigator is called a dossier, as it's going to probably be one or more pages. Not only is it where you write down details about that investigator character, but it also might be where you write down notes about the current story or anything interesting that happens in a game. Once all the investigators are created, a blank piece of paper is placed on the table with the label The Beast. Players take turns at running investigators and the Beast throughout the game. The idea is after a round, you rotate roles. The point of the game is the investigators are going to try and unravel the mystery of the Beast. What do they want and why are they causing so much trouble? As I just mentioned, a game of Unknown Beast starts with the players working together to set the scene. As I mentioned, to play this game, the group gets together and sort of preps it as a whole. The player that goes first is an investigator who sets the scene. This should be a collaborative effort based on what you've discussed as the preferred setting. Each person playing an investigator takes turns trying to interrogate the details of the scene to find out more information about the Beast. After the investigators go, the Beast then acts. Based on what the investigators have found out about the Beast will respond. Generally, the Beast is trying to thwart the investigation. The game then goes through investigator turns, then Beast turns, rotating the roles around the table. I think it's a very good choice that the game has the players rotate the roles. It means that instead of one particular player being the antagonist of the story, everyone gets a turn being the antagonist. It would be pretty difficult to throw the story one way or another as you're swapping characters each round. The investigators learn more about the Beast by investigating what it's done. To do this, a player selects an action for the investigator. There's options like there's the option to investigate, create an advantage, combat a threat, or group actions. That's just for a start. These actions allow the players to find out more about the story. Once the investigator has selected a particular action, they'll roll a number of d8s relevant to a score they have in a skill. The beast will also roll a d8. The player wants their highest die roll to beat the number on the beast's die result. This means a success. The more dice that beat the beast's number, the more successes an investigator has and the more information they find out. The beast then responds to the investigator's actions. There's actually a lot more actions for the beast to use. Some of them can only be used in certain circumstances, others are more general. Sometimes the beast actions are in response to a roll that's happened previously. There's the possibility that a player can have such abysmal dice rolls that it allows the beast to take some special moves the next round. There's also tension points. The more tension that ramps up in a game, the more the situation grows dire. There's even sort of a countdown clock for when the game starts to really speed up and get into the third act. Depending on how the game is going, this could mean that the beast is going to quickly overpower the game, or the investigators might be able to salvage it. This game manual states that failure is an option for the story. So you're not supposed to feel afraid of the story resulting with the investigators totally getting their butts handed to them. That's a viable story option after all. I like the idea of this game. The label low prep or no prep or high prep always makes me wonder and think about what counts as prep. I think for a game of Unknown Beast to be successful, every single person playing the game should have at least gone through the game manual, if not read it thoroughly. To me, that is probably a bit more prep than most groups go through. And then, of course, there's the question of, does collecting and setting up the materials count as prep? It's kind of just a wormhole for me where I overthink it way too much. A game of Unknown Beast tends to be for a single contained story, but the manual does also provide options for an extended game of Unknown Beast where your investigators might investigate different unknown beasts and go on different adventures together. In those circumstances, you add to the dossier of the investigators, sort of a group dossier. This is like a kind of summary of the major events to happen to each character. That means whoever picks up that investigator character sort of knows what's going on. I would say Unknown Beast is a tabletop role-playing game best suited for groups that have a bit of experience playing tabletop role-playing games under their belt. It's not the easiest game, I think, to necessarily grok, or at least I made some notes while reading it just so I could sort of work things out. In addition, everyone is taking turns at playing the antagonist and the heroes, so you would want someone who understands the spirit of the game. Because no one is running the full story, it is based on a lot of improvisation, so you would probably want a group that is confident with going with the flow and adding things in. I definitely don't think I would bring this to a try your first tabletop role-playing game night, but maybe I'm completely wrong about this and this would be a great pick for new tabletop role-playing game players. I think the easiest way for everyone to get their hands on a copy of Unknown Beast would be through DriveThruRPG. A physical copy of that game with a PDF bundle does come for $38 US. If you're a horror enthusiast, I think Unknown Beast could be a lot of fun for you. This game took 3 years to create, which I think goes to show how much work actually goes into making a tabletop game, especially when it's a small team. I don't think I'd be able to work on something for 3 years, that's why I like making these short videos, that's more my style. But what did you think of Unknown Beast? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. While you're there, I encourage you to like this video and perhaps even share it with a friend who might find this video interesting. If you would like to keep up with the channel, you can subscribe and turn on notifications. That way YouTube is supposed to tell you when I've next uploaded. If you would like to do something really special to help out the channel, you can donate to the channel using the link to my Ko-Fi page all those donations go straight back to the running costs of the channel. For example, games like today where I get a copy printed and bound locally so I can make a review, this isn't cheap to do, so I do really appreciate everyone's help. Of course, don't feel obliged to make a donation. I appreciate having your company to discuss games. If you have made a game and you would like to see it on the channel, you can reach out to me using the email address in the description box below. There is a bit of time in between me receiving a game and getting a review out. I'm just that lucky that so many people would like me to review their games. I want to thank V Hemming for reaching out to me and giving me this digital copy of Unknown Beast. I want to thank you all for sitting down and discussing it with me here today. I hope you're all well, and I look forward to seeing you next time at the gaming table. Bye!